Can you please touch on praying for false prophets, teachers, evangelists to die? Isn't that in the Bible? And how is this different from celebrating the death or potential death of one? In Matthew 18, woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to the man by whom the offense comes. Unfortunately, it's just the state of the world that people are going to sin. But woe unto those by whom the offense comes. Now we see God say the same thing. God in the Old Testament punishes the Israelites by having them being taken captive by Babylon. But then God punishes the Babylonians for sinning against the Israelites. How does that work? Because even if it was in God's favor or God wanted someone to die, and so he lifted his protection from someone and allowed them to get murdered, the murder is still immoral. If I were, for example, to pray for Nick to get cut off, and then someone murders Nick, that was God's doing. This is not my doing. I'm not directly responsible for this. Even if I should be happy or whatever that a false prophet has been taken out, the murderer should still be punished because what the murderer did, regardless as to who he did it to, is still wrong. So I can simultaneously say, I don't support Nick Fuentes, but also say the guy who tried to murder him was evil. Now, I've already established, right, we know murder is wrong, and we know the Bible teaches against murder, and therefore what he's done is wrong. But I want to go a little deeper on this because there are many Christians who kind of have this belief that killing heretics or banning heresy or violating someone's free speech on a civil level is somehow okay. That these sorts of things are justified. Catholics, for example, will say that it's justified to kill heretics. I would never say that Nick Fuentes should be killed. But Nick Fuentes, or at least his cronies, have said in the past that they would kill me if they were in power, right? If they were in power and I was preaching a true gospel, they would kill me. Well, what does the Bible say on this issue? Does the Bible command us to kill false prophets? The Bible says, in Romans 12, verse 19, it says this, "Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord." It's not my job to go kill false prophets. It's not my job to take vengeance into my own hands for God and kill the Antichrist. I'm in a self-defense situation. It's my job to defend myself, okay? Unless I choose to turn the other cheek. If I'm in a situation where I have to defend others, I have to defend them and I can't turn the other cheek. When someone sins against me, it's not my job to take vengeance, which means after they sin against me or sin against someone else later, taking vengeance against them. It's the job of God to take vengeance. We don't have to support false prophets. In fact, we are called to not support them if they are a false prophet. If they're not a false prophet, they're just a wicked sinner, but that's another story. You should help them out. But if they're a false prophet, we are called to mark and avoid them. We're called to not help them. We're called to not even invite them in their house, not even pray for good things to happen to them. We're actually called to pray for bad things to happen to them. But we're called to pray for bad things to happen to them, not to take it into our own hands and kill them. And the offense must come, but woe unto him through whom the offense comes. So if a man sins to kill another sinner, the man who sinned to kill the sinner, they need to be killed. They need to be executed. Mark them and avoid them. Doesn't say kill them. Doesn't say ban them from being in society. It doesn't say remove their free speech. It doesn't say censor them off the internet. It says mark and avoid them. Don't associate with them. Don't talk to them. Don't invite them into your church. Don't allow them to enter the church building, and avoid them.